Boss, a point today for us. What are your thoughts?
Yes, not what we wanted, if I'm honest. We want to return back with 3 points into the dressing room. So for that, the first emotion is a bit disappointment. But overall, you also have to accept that sometimes it's a difficult day in the office, and it was one of these days. Yeah, of course, against Middlesbrough, when they are spot on and concentrate on their defending behavior, it's always difficult to create. I got the feeling in the first half we were dominating this game, but wasted too much energy in terms of building up the game with too many lads. So our offensive players should have stayed a bit more high up in the field in order to then have the energy where it really counts in the final third. So for that, we had good chances. When I think about Mario's situation, good situation out of 10 yards, for example. But I got the feeling we didn't create enough. Spoke about these topics at halftime, and I got the feeling so against then also a team who will get more and more tired from minute to minute. Would have been a much better second half. We had a good start with a good finishing situation for Todd Cantwell, but then sadly there was a sent-off situation, and if you're then down to 10 lads and playing underload against the side who is also sitting on position 7 and looking forward to finish the season in the top 6, it's not that easy. Then you have to say, okay, then it's important not to lose this game, to return to the dressing room with a clean sheet. We had still a few good situations out of counter-attack, and I got the feeling so we're perhaps even a bit closer to score this final goal, but it was then anyhow not possible for us. And then you have to say it was a bit, perhaps not the best day, but a dirty game anyhow. And then you have to take the clean sheet, you have to take the draw and draw a line under it and to keep going. So for that we take the point today.
Yeah, the biggest moment in the game, obviously in the second half when Emmy was shown a second yellow. What are your thoughts on that? Have you had a chance to see it back at all?
Yes, of course you're disappointed in such a moment. If I'm honest, it feels also a bit unfair if such a player who is fouled that often and many hits into his Achilles anyhow, and much pain for him if he's sent off after such a situation, is not allowed to finish a game, and then will probably also miss some football in the next games. Feels a bit unfair. I think also the yellow-red card was hushed because it was a fight for the ball. Both players tackle into the ball, and he came perhaps 0.1 second too late, tries to pull his leg out of the situation, and of course an experienced opponent player makes a bit more out of situation anyhow. I think it feels hushed that after this situation Emi was not allowed to finish the game. On the other hand, you can also argue and say, okay, if you're on a yellow card, you have to be a bit more careful in this duels and make sure that you don't give the referee a decision to make. So this is also what I'm speaking about, that sometimes Emi is still a young player and also emotional player from South America, and we want these emotions, but sometimes you still have to learn a bit to canalize this in the right moment. Again, my feeling was a harsh yellow-red card and no bad intention at all, and no danger anyhow that he would injure a player, not a tactical foul for that. I think it was harsh, but in general, so he will also have to learn out of this to be a bit more smart and perhaps a bit less naive in such situations for his future, because it was quite costly for us today, and also will cost him some game time for the next games.
But were you pleased with how the team fought back after that red card and how solid we looked? We didn't really give Middlesbrough too many chances and probably looked a bit more threatening of the two sides in the final half an hour.
Yes, of course, it was not what we wanted to finish this game in underload, because we know it's difficult, but the reaction was good. So it was important to dig in and then to make sure that they don't have any chances, and then to lurk for this 1 or 2 situation on the counter. We had some good counter-attacks with Janulis, also with Przemysław Placheta. Had perhaps a few situations where we could have scored out of a counter, but it was of course then difficult also against Neil Warnock's side, who was difficult to break anyway, and not to speak about underload. So for that, again, not what we wanted before the game, but how the game developed. You have to say, okay, it's a draw, it's a clean sheet, we take this, draw a line on it and keep going.
Yeah, and just a final word on Dimitris. Obviously he made his debut today. What did you make of his overall performance? Obviously it's hard to judge a player on his first appearance, but what did you make of his outing today?
Yes, I think in general solid performance. Was quite solid in terms of defending. Showed some glimpses of his pace and also what he can do in the offense. I didn't expect a world-class performance, but I got the feeling it's also a bit the right moment to do this, because Jacob Lungi-Sørensen, for example, is not a specialist on this position, but he was fantastic in the last games. But he has played more or less each and every minute for us, even in the FA Cup games when we rested some players. He had to deliver each and every minute, and and looked also in the last game at Barnsley a bit tired, and we got the feeling, okay, right now we're playing 3 games within 6 days, and it's also a good situation to bring Dimitrios on the pitch after he had a full training week, and he could concentrate, and then to play against a side in a home game who plays up front on the winger position a bit more with fullbacks, with Spence against him, a bit more defensive orientated. We got the feeling it's a bit easier first cameo in comparison to perhaps a away game at Millwall or Swansea. So for that, we got the feeling it's the right way to share the load and give him his first appearance, because we need him perfectly in this rhythm as quick as possible. And again, he was there with a solid start, and good to have him right now in this yellow shirt, and good for him that he has his first minutes on his belt.